Only the best for one of the best. Naomi Girma there bidding adieu to the San Diego Wave for $1.1 million. She's the most expensive player in women's soccer history. But what makes this deal even more impressive, Ali, is the fact that we are seeing this type of money for a defender. You know I'm all about making defending great again, and this is something that you did very, very well. So I have to ask you, we tend to harp a lot on the transfer fees for players in football, and we know they really don't have that much to do with it. They can only go out there and do their part. But did the price tag for Naomi Girma surprise you?
It did actually, because, one, we haven't seen this ever before in the women's game, which is so exciting. And like you said, I am so happy that is a defender. So shout out to Naomi, and she deserves it. Out of any defender that I think we've ever seen and ever played with, or that I've played alongside, she is incredible and she is deserving of this. And, Chelsea definitely has won the ultimate prize in a player like her. And it is exciting to see that the women's game is progressing in this direction and that we are seeing this movement. And it's not just a moment now. This is going to be a movement and continuing to grow and, get better in the future. And so this is really exciting. It's only the beginning. I remember also seeing back, I think 10 years ago, and Megan Rapinoe, I think it was a trade or a transfer to Magic Jack for $100,000. And we all thought in camp, we were like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And like, you are valuable, you're worth it. And she is, right? But that was at that time, as one of the best players in the world, getting a transfer fee, technically, as we call it now, $100,000 compared to 1.12, as you said earlier. And this is just an incredible progression of our game. And I am so excited because these players now completely deserve this. And this is where the game is going. This is where it's growing. And the leagues have to continue to keep up, or they'll be missing out on some of the best players in the future.
Well, good thing that you mentioned that too, because especially here, once that news broke, all the headlines here in London and in the UK were just Chelsea make statement signing with this type of a signature from Naomi Girma, and of course the price tag. Do you feel like now that we've touched the $1 million mark, that this is gonna, I suppose, get the rest of the clubs around Europe even thinking, we need to really up our game now?
Yeah, you're definitely seeing a shift in women's football where, the
Mhm.
top American players, which we'll talk about a few others, are now choosing to leave, some leagues like the NWSL for the best European clubs. And also as a player, it's exciting because it's a new experience. So you have, one of the biggest draws, which I was so lucky to experience and win, was the Champions League, which is so attractive for a lot of the players from the NWSL in America because you don't have that tournament. It doesn't exist at home. And so going to play at a tournament where you watch our male counterparts play every single year is so exciting. You play against other teams in other countries, other clubs around the world, well, more specifically in Europe. But for players who want to compete at the highest level, like this experience it's tough to turn down. So no other league has anything that's comparable to that. There's also something that's appealing about European football as a whole, like Naomi touched on. It's not just the games; it's a lifestyle. You have the
Mhm.
culture, the history, the fashion, the food, the languages. It's the entire package, and it's different. That you can now immerse yourself into that off the field experience as well. And for many Americans, that's very exciting. And then from a structural standpoint, Europe also operates differently. The leagues don't have the salary caps like we do in the NWSL, which means clubs can spend more money, like we just saw with Naomi's transfer fee, and their wages,
Mhm.
creating an increasingly competitive market for talent. So yes, the NWSL has a salary cap system. While since the beginning it's been that way, but it creates that financial gap when competing with the biggest clubs in the world. So now you're going to start seeing that shift, and we're going to start, I think, talking about more of these transfers maybe in the future. So NWSL has to figure out a way how to keep their best talent there to continue to grow the game in the States, because as of right now, you see the competition is growing, and a lot of these American players want to go and have an experience in Europe. So the trend is a challenge now for NWSL. Because you want to keep that talent here and you want to keep people in the stands and continuing to watch and support our game here in the US.
Well, as you know, I live a stone's throw away from Stamford Bridge, so you're going to have to give me Naomi's number so I'll call her up when I need someone to pay for my pints because, well, proud of you, Naomi. That's some ka-ching, ka-ching. Well, speaking of that, like I said, it was a massive transfer. It kind of had the world reacting, and you got to go, Ali, to the NWSL Media Day and speak to some of the stars and see what their reaction was like to Naomi's transfer. Let's have a listen.
Amid reports of Naomi Girma obviously going overseas and possibly breaking your world transfer fee record, will that be some type of a weight off your shoulders? Or how do you view that?
There was no weight on my shoulders.
You're like, if you want me, you got to get me.
One thing we must know is records are meant to be broken. But there's only one thing people will never break, is something you love to win. And yourself, your targets and everything. These all records just come by. We all have targets. We target to have something in life. And being a champion is not just winning trophies. It's, achieving, upgrading from where you was and to where you are as at now, So I call myself a champion, and being expensive means nothing to me, but what I do for the community and for my life matters.
I mean, it's crazy. But she is, like, worth every dollar. Like, if there was somebody that was not an attacking player, it's her. Like, since we were younger, I've just been like, she is the best center back in the world.
Right, you've been playing with her for many years in the youth national teams and seeing her kind of progress into this role now. So
no Naomi hate would be tolerated ever. Like, I've always just been her biggest fan, and when I saw that, I was, like, not even surprised.
Yeah, I mean, no one deserves it more than Nene. She's like the most humble person, humble player that I've ever met, ever come across, and she just like deserves that so much, and I'm really proud of her.
First of all, Naomi deserves anything good in the world.
So, everyone has said that after all these questions.
Really, she is, I think that like within the sport, like you can find yourself like feeling a little bit of a little battle sometimes. Obviously, we're like teammates, but we're rivals all the time. And I feel like Naomi is the one person that everybody's like, Nay, take the ball. Like, you can have it. I love you so much. You deserve all the good. And she's so talented. She's so talented. She's so humble. I don't think she even knows how good she is or can be. And so to see that, one, that the game is, people are paying for that, and that she's the record breaker, it's just, I have no words. Like, I have no words for it, but she deserves it, and I think it just shows you where women's sports are going. Like, somebody's got to be the first to do it.
Right.
Why not her?
Yeah, I'm so excited for her. I mean, she deserves every single penny and more. I mean, Naomi is, like, just so world-class, incredible defender, the best I've ever played with, I think it's safe to say, and just as her friend, like, I'm so happy for her that she is just kind of pursuing this new opportunity and again, getting what she deserves, and I think she's just going to crush it, and I can't wait to watch and support her.
One of your teammates who's had an awesome Olympics as well as Naomi Girma, obviously with his record transfer fee. How happy are you for her, and what does it say about the women's game kind of moving in this direction, especially for a defender? I'm like, shout out,
I know,
we finally are getting our flowers.
Yeah, exactly that. It's so much attention on Triple Espresso and the goal scorers, so to have that recognition with Nay and with Alyssa finally is amazing. Nay is just played outstanding for years. It's not like this just happened. So I'm so proud of her, and I'm so happy just because she is so humble, like the most humble human I've ever met. She never wants to talk about herself. Even when she plays, she's so unfazed by everything. But yeah, it's not unexpected what happened. Like, I was like, oh, classic, biggest deal ever, transfer fee. Like, I don't know. I'm excited to see where this takes her and how much she grows even more.
Amazing reaction there, Ali. And just quick question too before we move on. But pretty much this is Naomi Girma, as you said. I remember speaking to Kat Macario after we covered that game against Arsenal, Chelsea Arsenal for ESPN for the WSL. And I asked her, like, do you expect her just to settle in quickly? And she said, well, she's going to have to get used to the weather first, because one thing's for sure, San Diego is definitely nothing like gray old London. But you know what? It's Naomi Girma. You do expect her to settle in. But that's just me. You, from a tactical standpoint, Ali, how do you see her fitting into what already is such a solid, almost perfect Chelsea team, and especially a really strong defense?
Yeah, she's gonna fit in perfectly. Obviously, with Bjorn and Millie Bright there, I don't know now. Sonia has a really tough decision to create in the back line, but they can also do a formation change, a tactical change, right? They can play in a 3-back with Naomi just sliding in, maybe on the left side or even the right side, depending on where Bjorn likes to play. There's different options that you can have. Obviously, I think she'll slip right into that position. So, and I don't know if you're going to take Millie Bright out at all. So Bjorn might have to be the one. But she is just incredible. She is on the field, her vision, the leadership that she has, even at this young age. We've talked about it so many times before, just the way that she can connect passes, the way that she can chase down forwards, the way that she can tackle, and just her awareness, I think, is something that is so valuable for a lot of teams and a lot of coaches to have that powerhouse in the back. And I think she's just going to add that stability and that confidence. Not that Chelsea really need more of that at the moment, in the position that they're in. They've had a tremendous season so far, and obviously they want to win Champions League and other trophies in the future. So she is going to be a staple and a great addition to the spine of the team. And like every other player had said, her teammates on the national team, she deserves every penny, and they will definitely not regret spending that amount to get her to perform on their team week in and week out.
Yeah, well, Naomi stealing the headlines probably lasted for about a week or so, because Chelsea were busy again. They were not done splashing some cash, and this time they signed a lioness, England lioness Kira Walsh. They signed her for yet another pretty hefty fee, just over $500,000, Ali, from Barcelona. We know that Kira Walsh is just one of the best midfielders in the world. I mean, people call her the female Sergio Busquets. I remember that iconic line where they said, if you just watch Kira Walsh, you can really see exactly how any team goes about the game. You understand football if you just watch her. And to know that Chelsea have added her just a week after they added Naomi Girma is another massive statement, especially for the transfer fee. Ali, surely now that they got Naomi Girma, they've got Kira Walsh, they already have the amazing players that they have. The Champions League has to be theirs, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question now. I mean, there's actually no excuse now, I don't think, that they can have. But sometimes, that having the best players on one team isn't always, doesn't always go as planned, right? There's different personalities to manage. You have a lot of, leaders on one team, and there's different opinions as well. So the leadership is going to be key from top down, which starts with the coaching staff and implementing those principles right away. Because I've been on previous teams with, world-class players, and it hasn't always gone the way that we had envisioned or had planned. And so it has to, start with the leadership, both on and off the field. And I think as long as that is stable and that is off to a good start, then I don't see any other team able to catch up with Chelsea at the moment. But, with Kira, that was such an excellent signing, because I know there was rumors, through multiple transfer periods that she would have maybe gone to Arsenal. And so I don't know how Chelsea, pulled this off once again. But to have her Naomi, Sam Kerr, hopefully she's getting back soon. I mean, all these fantastic players, and Macario as well. They are going to be unstoppable, and they're going to be so much fun to watch. So it's really exciting, and I'm thrilled for the team itself. It's such, they have such power now. And I would feel so confident walking out onto the field on game day, wearing a Chelsea jersey and representing that club at the moment.